Attached by Wdowski. Copyright 2025. Part 5. Ease and York loudly slammed open the door to the underground barracks. The platoon of triracial human grunts and non-commissioned officers all stopped what they were doing and jumped to attention in front of their bunk beds. Their commanding officer and prime sergeant walked down the middle aisle between the two rows of men at attention. The 33 men that bunked in the room were accustomed to the musk of male sweat and moldy odor of the room that would repel most civilians. Some of fluorescent lights above them would flicker from time to time. Gentlemen, we have been given the great honor to take out the remaining purebred leadership and officially ending this war. Ease announced to his men. All pulse rifles will be swapped in for good old-fashioned gas-operated assault rifles and half a dozen fractal grenades each. We are going down under, grenades clearing our way. Game time, added Corbyn. Hooray! The 3 different squads attempted to outshout each other. The squads moved in support of one another. 2 units would cover, while another unit would advance. The squads leapfrogged each other, closing in on their objective. At this distance, their reactive cuttlefish camouflage blended them all into their surroundings. Communication had to be done through their helmet audio systems due to being unable to see each other's hand signals. Behind them were a division of robotic grunts ready to enter the combat zone once the human platoon could neutralize the EMS device. Ahead of them were the shut-down ground bots and fallen drones that had gotten too close to the electronic magnetic field. Leading the way were a small group of trained mutts to sniff out the hidden enemy entrance. Reaching the line of shut-down robot grunts, all their communications links and reactive cuttlefish camouflage shut down. If they had taken their pulse rifles, they too would have been deactivated by the EMS generator. Within the EMS field, their old-fashioned assault rifles were unaffected. Hand signals were now used to direct the squads to cover and advance as they reached the building that was mostly still intact. The mutts ahead stopped suddenly and began growling. The first squad halted and focused their conventional assault rifles on the darkened entrance. With Bronze, Lieutenant Ease and Corbyn, 2nd Squad moved up on 1st's right flank. 3rd Squad took up a position just a bit in front of 2nd Squad's right flank. Ease hand signaled to all the squads to take cover, when suddenly a large, snarling chow-chow, lion dog, pounced upon the lead mutt, biting down hard on its neck. The other mutts instinctively attacked the pure-breed chow-chow, viciously ripping the dog apart. Finishing off the chow-chow, the mutts turned their attention to the doorway. They took 1 step forward and stood their ground, beginning low guttural growls. Ease hands signaled for 2 of his men to move forward. The rest of the platoon covered them as they each ran to opposite sides of the doorway. With their backs against the outer wall, they simultaneously pulled the safety pins from their grenades and threw them into the darkened doorway. For seconds later, the grenades both detonated. Screams could be heard. Ease quickly signaled 1st Squad to move in. Weapons blazing, they finished off the few enemy soldiers that had survived the grenades. The dogs began wagging their tails that all was clear. Ease moved in 2nd Squad, followed by 3rd. He had the 3rd hold back outside, not bunching up with the rest. He ordered the dogs and 1st Squad to systematically make sure the ground floor was clear. Corbyn looked down at the half-dozen dead Asian soldiers that had been guarding the lobby of the building. One of the men from 1st Squad took a hit to his inner groin. The squad medic was already patching him up with a field staple gun. "Is he good?" "I am good, Prime Sergeant." The human grunt replied, clenching a bit with each staple used to close up his wound. "He is done for the day. He can hold up here until we can take down the EMS, so an evac drone can come in to pick him up." The medic smiled at the wounded man. "You'll be breeding nice bronze babies in no time." The 1st Squad sergeant's mate returned to the lobby, reporting to Lieutenant Ease. "The dogs found a room. Is buttoned up tight. The rest of the floor is clear. Your orders." "Take us to the room." Ease turned to 2nd Squad sergeant. "Remain here with 2nd Squad. Come a-running if I give you a shout." He turned to Corbyn. "Prime Sergeant, you are with me." The sergeant's mate led them quickly to the double doors. The mutts were all intensely snarling at it. "Plastic." Ease whispered to Corbyn. Corbyn gestured to the sergeant's mate to take the dogs back to the secure lobby. The rest of the squad, 5 men on each side of the doors, took cover. Corbyn took out of one of his vest pockets a grayish lump of clayish material the size of a golf ball. Breaking off small pieces off it, he placed splats of it into the door joint at each hinge point of each door. He then placed small explosive caps in each of the pieces of gray plastic explosives. That completed, Corbyn linked all the caps together with a single wire. Both ends of the wire he attached to a small mechanical detonator. Nodding to the squad, he was ready. They all turned their back to the doors and hunkered down. The explosion knocked down both doors. Instantly, 4 grenades were chucked into the room. After they exploded, the squad rushed in. Quick bursts of fire took out any living souls left in the room. The EMS device was plugged into a portable field reactor. Corbyn calmly walked up to the device, pulled the dead body of a PLA soldier off it. With a simple yank, he unplugged the EMS generator. All of their reactive cuttlefish camouflage triggered back on, along with their communications in their helmets. Within moments, robot grunts and killer drones entered the building, entered the room, and found the door to the lower levels. Without hesitation, the machines swarmed down into the enemy shelter. The human grunts let the robots do their job. They merely waited for an all-clear signal from their robotic counterparts. Lieutenant Ease ordered First Squad to regroup with Second and Third outside the building. He and Corbyn descended down into the underground shelter to gather any intelligence they could find for their superiors. After a long climb down, they finally reached the shelter. Robot grunts and drones were everywhere. A few had been knocked out. The corridors were mostly filled with dead Korean and Han Chinese soldiers. They reached large double doors. A dozen dead Asian soldiers lay where they fell in front of the doors, having failed to defend the room from the robot grunts. Their command center? Corbyn slung his rifle, knowing nothing was alive in the room ahead of them. Must be. Ease looked at the dead as they stepped over them to get into the room. Once in the room, both men stood in shock. It was not what they expected. The robots had not wiped out a heavily defended command center. They had wiped out a nursery. Hundreds of purebred babies and toddlers lay dead all around them. The robot grunt stood emotionally quiet over the dead.